Welcome back to another Q&A session with myself, Renata, and Coach Mack. If I haven't met you yet, hi, welcome. I'm Renata, intuitive nutrition coach. I help women be empowered with their nutrition so they can heal their bodies, mind, and spirit. And I'm joined by the incredible Coach Mack. Hi, Mack.
Hello, everyone. Like she said, I'm Coach Mack, the founding health coach of Running with Bacon, where I help women feel like themselves again via fitness, one small step at a time.
And we have an incredible question today, which I'm honestly very excited for Mack to answer first, because the question is, and I quote, "I hate cooking, but I know it's healthier for me if I do. Any ideas to make it suck less?"
Yes. So I have some ideas, but first let me say, I love cooking. I didn't always love cooking, cooking, baking, all of the things with food. Part of it's because I love food, but I did not start out that way. And I will say 7-ish years ago, maybe not quite that many, maybe like 5, I made a commitment to get better at cooking. And over the years, I have come to realize part of why I disliked cooking so much is because I wasn't good at it. Like the food I made was just kind of like, meh. And I didn't like the process. I didn't really know what I was doing. You know, I love watching Food Network. So I'm just like, oh, I want to be like that and just be able to chef it up and, you know, use spices and do all this stuff. But I had no idea like what even went together or how to cook stuff. And so anytime I stepped into the kitchen, it was just kind of like a slog that I was like, well, I mean, I guess I'll make the same thing I made last time, you know, and so it wasn't fun. It wasn't exciting. There wasn't anything like fresh to it. So I think that part of it is learning how to cook. And honestly, the only way to do that is to practice. And so, like I said, a few years ago, I made the commitment once a week, just once out of 7, I made the commitment to try cooking something new. And it turned into Sunday dinners where I get to just be in the kitchen. I will have a cocktail or a glass of wine. I'll have music playing or a podcast or something that I'm like really into. And it's become kind of my me time for figuring out how can I make this better. And again, through the years, I freaking love cooking and baking now because I'm not going to say I'm good at it, but I'm more comfortable. I know what I'm doing. I have way more possibilities opened up to how I can make it more enjoyable. And additionally, occasionally, I will even get my boyfriend in the kitchen helping me. And that makes it even better because it becomes more of an experience, something that we get to do together, memories that we're creating. And then lastly, I know it's just he and I, but it feels really good to make good, nourishing, healthy food for us. I'm sure if I had kids, it might feel even more fulfilling knowing that I'm like filling these tiny humans with good food. But for me, it's comforting knowing that I can do that just for us. And it's something that's special than sitting down to the meal and all of that. So from an experiential side of things, those are some ways that you can make it more enjoyable and it will suck less if you're able to start doing those, even just little things that make it slightly more enjoyable. You're not gonna just flip a switch and like it overnight. That's kind of unreal, but there are those little things that you can do to make it more enjoyable. So that's just from my personal experience. I know you offer a cooking class and you help people figure out meal planning and find ways to make that process suck less. So do you want to share your tips about it?
Yeah, well, I think that you honestly answered this question perfectly. You touched on several things that I definitely would have said if you didn't say it. So I wanted to say basically 3 things. Number 1, if you hate cooking, and just like Mack, I love cooking. I've always loved cooking. I'm a real cooking nerd. So just FYI. But if you don't love cooking, one of the things I would really recommend is to look at why. And this is exactly what Mack did. She figured out the reason why she didn't like cooking was because she felt like she was bad at it. And so just like she figured out, if I practice, I get better. And that's the same across the board for anything in life. If we practice, we make progress. We don't have to be perfect. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that if you're practicing doing something, you're going to get better. And secondly, I would really recommend, if you're looking at why you don't love cooking, really dive deep into that, because this is something I have specifically worked with with a client. She said like she hated cooking, and there were lots of reasons why. She grew up in a really challenging household. She always felt like there was lack in terms of food, and so it was this idea of scarcity. It was this idea that she was never stable when it was around food, and that influenced all of her food decisions and cooking decisions growing up. So once we were able to face that particular true reason for why she hated cooking, we faced it, we acknowledged it, and we had the awareness of it moving forward. We could then create a new way of being in the kitchen. And so that might sound super deep for such like honestly like a question that is really funny when you first hear it, but there's usually a deeper underlying reason for why you hate something. And if we can target that, that's the key to moving past anything and everything, not just cooking. Okay, so that's my first tip. My second tip actually has to do with the Food Network. So I love that you used to watch that so much, because I did too. Like when I moved
still
to the
do,
States.
for the record.
Oh, that's so good. Okay, so when I first moved to the States, I would watch Food Network all the time like a crazy person, because we didn't have that in New Zealand when I was growing up. And so one of the shows that I thought was so interesting was one called Semi Homemade. Do you remember that one with Sandra Lee?
With Sandra Lee.
Yes. Where is she now, by the way?
But
yeah, but this is a great way to make cooking suck less. So basically what she does in the show is she takes like roughly like 50 to 75% of purchased ingredients, and then she whips them up at home so that it feels homemade, hence semi-homemade. And so this is a great tip for you. So whether it is like you grab a bag of salad greens, you grab like a rotisserie chicken, and you just put it together on your plate, like you carve it up and you have your salad greens and you have a great dressing. You're taking something that's already been cooked at the store and putting it together in your own way at home to make it feel a little bit more homemade. What I love about this idea now is that so many grocery stores have healthier options available. And so this is really tying into this idea of improving your health. You don't have to cook everything for yourself from scratch. There's so many great healthier options available now. So definitely use the store to your advantage. There's so many great options available. And the third option is, and I love that you touched on this, is to make the experience of cooking more enjoyable. So whether it's putting on your favorite songs, having your favorite people in the room, anything like that to really elevate the experience is huge, because then you're developing this connotation with cooking being enjoyable, whether it's from music or podcasts or the people that are in the room. That is the best way to help you feel better about the cooking process. And so any of those tips that either Mack and I have shared, they will really be helpful to making cooking suck less.
Totally agree. And if cleanup is one of the things that you also hate about cooking, see if you can make a deal with your significant other and say, hey, I'm going to practice. I want to try to get better at this. I want to do this. Then say, would you mind this one night? Could you maybe do the dishes? Could you do the cleanup? And then it might take some of the pressure off of you to cook that meal. Then you don't feel like you have then the cleanup waiting heavy on you as well. So another little tidbit for you.
Yeah, I love that. And that's honestly the agreement that my husband and I have, because I love cooking. He has been working on getting better at cooking. So primarily he cleans up, he does the dishes and everything, which is amazing. And then interestingly enough, that's the agreement that his parents have too. So it really does have this great carryover effect with your kids, if you have them, or with the people that observe you when you're cooking and cleaning up. So just know that all of the choices that you're making, if you can make it a positive choice, it will have a great ripple effect on the people around you.
Love it. So good. Thank you for those tips. They are fantastic. So thank you all for being here. We will see you in the next one.